Hey guys, it's Pressley, and welcome to Cool Conversations with Pressley, where we have the not so cool conversations with teenagers. And today I have a very special guest, Jensen.
Do you want me to say
Yeah,
it?
you could say it.
I'll say it, yeah. Jensen Gering. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
I'm Jensen Gering. I am a musician, actor. She was on the main show that I was on, Aaron and Aaron, for an episode that was super fun. So that's how I met her. And for some reason, she brought me out here. I don't know why.
Guys, I'm not sure. We've actually probably never had a serious conversation
No.
ever. So today's going to be very,
This might not be.
very interesting. I'm going to try keep it together, but probably going to laugh a lot. But
There you go.
very happy that you're here. And
Thank you.
today's topic is very important. It's about being authentic.
Oh, wow.
Which is very, very important. So we're just going to get right into our questions.
Serious. Yeah.
Starting off pretty simple. How do
Sure.
you define being authentic?
I think, simply put, being authentic is being true to yourself in whatever it is that you want to do.
True. I agree.
She agrees.
Straight up.
Is
Great
that the
answer.
first time that we've had like a
That's so, yes. Great job.
Okay.
That was good. That was good.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm trying not to like break the mic when I did. Did I?
You're
do a
doing
good
great.
job?
You're doing
Okay,
great
thank
so
you
far.
much.
You're doing really good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So it's very hard to get caught up in all of the images we see online and on TV, and
It is.
very easy. So
Mhm.
how do you stay true to yourself and confident in who you are with all of that?
That is a good question. I mean, everyone's on their own path. You can't really compare yourself to others. You kind of just have to have this sort of vision and focusing on bettering yourself and what you want to do, because you're going to have a different path than everyone else.
So true. We're all on our own path, all on our own timing. It's going to look different for everyone. So staying true to who you are and focusing on your goals is the most important thing, for sure. Okay. Have you ever tried to be like somebody else, though, and how'd that end up? Because I know it can get very easy to compare to other people and want to be like somebody else. And I think that there is a very fine line between comparison and a healthy, like, competition and, like, looking up to people. And there's also, it can get to a point where you're kind of just, like, mimicking somebody else, and that's not exactly who you are.
Right.
So have you ever been there, and what have you done to, like, kind of stay out of that? And if not, what do you do to stay away from that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best comparison I could find, at least for myself, is with music. So you can have artists that you aspire to be. I mean, for me, John Mayer, Gary Clark Jr., all those kind of people. If you're trying to just mimic their exact songs and their exact sounds, lyrics, everything that you want to do, it's not going to end out well. People are just going to be like, oh, he's just a copy of all these other people.
Right.
You don't want to be that guy.
No.
So I think it's good to take pieces almost from everyone else rather than just one person, right? Because then you can build who you are as yourself and whatever you're doing, acting, music, singing, dancing, running, whatever you do, bowling,
I
playing
agree.
volleyball.
I agree. That's actually a really good point. I think it's
Thank you.
I think taking pieces from other people to inspire you rather than just mimicking somebody exactly is the best way to go about it, because you can be inspired and learn from other people rather than mimicking people. So it's a great point. Great point. Okay.
I'm trying to be like Pressley when I grow up.
I'm trying to be like Jensen Gering.
Wow.
Wow,
This is
look at
amazing.
that. Look at that.
Right?
Okay. It's hard sometimes to get caught up in different cliques at school or just in general with teens. So how do you avoid following the crowd and just like in general and like finding your own way rather than just like being a follower and what everybody's doing?
I'd say be approachable. I went to, when I was going to high school, my brother like went to the school before me. So instead of just going with him and hanging out with him and feeling comfortable, I just tried to be as approachable as I possibly could so I can make friends with all different types of people. So yeah, don't try to be safe or comfortable. Like, put yourself out there and just be approachable and be nice, and people come up to you, and you could even go up to people too. So
Good point.
Yeah.
Be open-minded.
be open.
Be open to making new friends. Don't just, follow other people. And I agree. Approachable's a great thing. Okay, this is also very important thing. Finding genuine friends can definitely be hard. So how were you able to find your community and your like friend group? If you're still learning, still growing, that's good too. So
I'm
where are you
I'm
at?
still learning.
Still
Presley,
learning.
Yeah. I've been to so many different schools, like I would say like 8 or 9 at this point, just moving around all the time. So I tend to find that the people, at least that were there early in my life, the people that support me, no matter in what I'm doing, especially the people that I've known for a long time, people that I've known for 6, 8 years plus, I know that the connection is genuine because they give me what I give them. So, just find people who really care about what you do and aren't trying to get something out of you or just don't really care about you at all. And you'll be able to tell.
I agree. I think you can feel genuine friendships from the very beginning. And I think that just like also is a part of growing up is learning and growing out and growing into friendships. I think is definitely a part of just like especially the teenage years in life. And I think that once you find the right people though, you'll know and just like stick with those people. You don't have to have a big friend group at all.
No.
I think having a small circle is actually a lot better, and also having, the people that have been there since the very beginning. For me, that's my family, my cousins, everyone that's who I've been closest with. They have always been a constant in my life. So I
Notice
know
how she didn't say me.
And Jensen.
What is wrong with
and
you?
Jensen.
Thank you.
Of course.
Okay.
Actually, that's so true though. From the first second we've met, I feel like we've just like clicked and we've been great friends ever since. So shout out Jensen.
Thanks, boss.
You're so welcome. Okay. So here's the thing. We all know that peer pressure is a real thing.
Ooh.
We all know this. How do you say no to peer pressure and stay away from it? Or have you ever gotten caught up in it? Has there ever been a moment where you've been caught up in that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing with peer pressure is if you're hanging out too with people that you actually like and actually care about you, they're not going to try to do that. So it's really it's about the crowd that you're hanging out with,
So
like if you're just like, dude, I'm not comfortable with this or I don't want to do this, most people aren't going to be like, you have to do this, you have to do that. And if they are, just be like, no. It's as simple as just saying no. If you have to leave, if you have to text someone, call someone that your parents, friends, whatever. But just say no and try to hang out with people who aren't trying to make you do all these, whatever, things that you don't want to do.
I agree. I think that if it's somebody who genuinely has your best interests at heart and cares about you, they won't make you do something that you're uncomfortable with. And they'll know your boundaries from the beginning. So they'll know what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and they shouldn't pressure you to or make you feel bad that you don't want to. So it's definitely who you surround yourself with. A lot of us are definitely people pleasers, and we try to avoid upsetting others. I know I definitely am. So how do you set those boundaries of knowing like when to like really just focus on yourself rather than trying to appease others?
I see it as I don't like procrastinating, so I try to get everything that I want to do first. At least, like, let's say I'm scheduling my day, I try to get everything that I need to do done first before I go off and whatever, text my friends, hang out with people. So you have to, like, my mom says a lot, get your priorities straight. So that's the main thing. Get what you need to do done.
And then worry about others. I agree. Putting yourself first is the most important thing.
Truth.
Speak the truth. Okay. All right. So we all know that wanting to fit in is something that is just human nature at this point. We all want to fit in, and it is what it is. So what are some good things about being different and standing out rather than just, fitting into that mold?
I think standing out is the best thing ever.
I agree.
Really?
Yeah, yes,
do you?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, especially, I'm going to make a lot of music comparisons today, especially with musical artists. Standing out is the biggest thing, because if you're trying to copy someone or sound exactly like someone, that they already exist.
Exactly.
So you have to, be able to stand out in a way that, I mean, the more specific you can stand out, the better, honestly. Yeah. I just saw an artist, shout out my boy McGee. I just saw him at the Palladium, and his sound is so unique and it stands out so much, and that's what makes him cool.
Yeah.
And now other artists might try to copy him, but he's like, you're missing the whole point.
Yeah.
You're missing the point. You got to stand out on your own. You can't just try to copy other people.
Yeah,
So.
I agree. I think that being different is what draws people in sometimes, because when you meet somebody who's just like somebody else that you've met, it's just like, oh, I don't know. But when you meet somebody that has something different about them, it kind of just like sparks your interest and draws you in. So music especially, I feel like when you hear something different and new, it really is just so much more exciting than something you've just heard over and over
Right.
again. So why would you want to be something that's just a repeat of something
Outplayed,
else?
yeah.
So I think that just embracing what makes you unique and different is honestly the best thing that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that you'll just be so much happier also when you're being who you are,
Yeah.
rather than trying to be somebody else. Great.
Wise words, folks.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. This is a good one too. How do you stand in your truth without being afraid of other people's opinions?
That is a good one too. Yeah, I think it's mainly the people that you surround yourself with too. Because if you listen to people that are just like online talking to you, whatever, they're just gonna be like, they're gonna hate you, they're gonna love you no matter what, you know.
Yeah.
There's always gonna LeBron. People hate on him on his posts, you know.
Right.
That's my boy. Don't ever talk down to LeBron.
No, never.
No, never.
Never.
You wouldn't, right?
I would never.
Okay, good. So yeah, I feel like if you surround yourself with people that tell you, like, I mean, for instance, my mom, if she tells me everything that I do is great, then I'm not going to want to change. I'm not going to want to do anything different. I'm not going to, you know. But if she tells me the honest truth about what she really thinks, and, you know, maybe she's not too harsh about it, then I'm going to be like, I can improve. But I'm also like, when she tells me something like, this song sounds great, Jensen, this is really great. And then another time she's like, this isn't too great. Maybe you can go work on it.
Yeah.
The time that she tells me, oh, it sounds great, I'm going to believe it because I know that she's telling the truth to me.
Yeah, I agree. You don't want to surround yourself with people that are just going to tell you everything's great or just like yes you to death.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to surround yourself with people that are just going to tear you down all the time. So I think that if you have people around you that can be honest when you're good, when you're bad, when you're kind of just in the middle, that's the most important thing. So
But I'm never bad.
Never bad.
No, okay.
Always great.
Just checking in.
110%.
You heard it.
For sure. Jensen Gering makes no mistakes.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay. All right. There's a lot of people that struggle being authentic due to the backlash that they may face. We all know this, especially being on social media. It can be hard to be yourself sometimes because you're scared of what people might say or what might come from you doing that. So what's like your best advice for people like dealing with that?
I mean, there's always going to be people that are going to make fun of you. The earlier you know that, or the sooner you know that, the more likely you're going to be able to put yourself out there, right? So, I mean, my advice, I guess, I mean, I say it a lot, but just stay in your own lane. Continue getting better, working hard, trying to be the best version of yourself that you can be, putting yourself out there. Because, you know, let's say, you know, neither of us did anything. I mean, social media is such a great way to put yourself out of there. You know, everyone's got to post. I got to post way more. Mom's always on me about that. Labels, everyone's always on me about that. So, you got to know that putting your, like 20 years down the road, let's say, if I'm like working a job that I don't really like, I know that back then I could have done something with my life. I could have chased a dream. I could have done this, and I didn't. I'm going to feel dissatisfied because, I mean, this is the life that you are given. So, you know, spend it wisely, and don't be afraid of what someone that you're not even going to know like 20 years down the road, some high school kid, some middle school kid, whatever, is going to think of you. You know, it doesn't matter. You're probably never going to see him again in your life. So just focus on what really matters to you.
That's so true. Live your life for yourself because it's your life. It's nobody else's. So they shouldn't have an input on what you say, what you do, make you feel bad about what you actually want to do because it's your life. You're the only one that has control of it. You're the only one that's going to have to live with being Jensen Gering or Pressley. Like nobody else is going to have to live with that. So in 5 years, is it really going to matter if somebody says that, I don't know, they don't like your outfit or that maybe you
I'm still really affected when you said that the other day, by the way.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
It's just, it was just
Not
the
cool.
top you were wearing.
Not good.
But you see,
You were honest.
I was being honest. It's
Yeah.
constructive criticism in a healthy friendship.
Thank you.
For sure. No, for sure. Anytime.
I'm hurt, though.
I'm sorry. I apologize. See, good communication.
Yeah.
I apologize. And now we're friends.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. All right. Was there ever a time you stepped outside of who you were to fit in?
There was. There was at least like a year of my life when I was just getting teased so much about whatever the music that I would put out, whatever I was doing, I guess. And I didn't fully stop, but I slowed it down, and I was just like, I just want to be a normal kid. I don't want to have to like do all this stuff. I'm getting teased and I'm getting torn down. And looking back on that, I was like, that was a really influential point in my life when I could have gotten better. So I do regret it to this day, stopping the whole train of what I had going, my progress, everything, music, guitar, singing, all the stuff I was doing. I just stopped it. And I'm still upset that I did that to this day. So don't let the same thing happen to you. You know, if you're going on the trajectory you don't want to go, don't let, someone else steer you off. Just keep going.
Yeah, I agree. Don't let other people's opinions affect where you want to go in life. And I think that it's hard. I think that we've all probably been there where, people aren't being the nicest, and it kind of affects your way of thinking as a normal human. It kind of just does, we're all affected by that. We're all emotional. We all feel things. So I think that it's a normal thing for us to kind of feel that way and for that to happen. It's definitely happened to me when I was a little bit younger, just with dance. I was always traveling with competition, and I was kind of, I didn't really have time to like hang out with friends outside of school because of what I was doing. And that was something that I kind of just had to be okay with sacrificing. But you did want to just feel normal at times, and it's kind of hard when other people don't see that. But I think looking back, you can really realize that it was all kind of worth it in the end for yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Does social media ever have an effect on being your true self?
I definitely think it does. I think social media has an effect on everyone, whether that be positive or negative. You can see stuff that motivates you or lifts you up, or you can it's all about perspective, right? So you can see someone that's doing great in life, and then you can be like, wow, I want to be just like them. I'm going to work hard to get like them. Or why am I not there? So it's really about how you see things. So, I mean, yeah, everyone has their own path, like what we were saying. Someone can get an acting job tomorrow, and then that can be the biggest thing that ever happened to them. And then some people can work and do auditions, and it'll take like 5 years until they get something. So don't focus on what other people are doing in their lives. Focus on what you're doing in your life. But I mean, social media, of course, has had an effect on me. It's had an effect on everyone. But let that effect be positive, not negative.
Yeah, it's all about mindset. It's all about the way that you view it. You can use it as a way of a healthy competition of keeping yourself motivated, but also there is like the more negative side where you see what everybody else is doing and you kind of compare yourself and you're like, oh, I wish I had that. But you can also just take the time to step away from it, put your phone down, just focus on yourself. So just remind yourself you're always on the same path. And I think that also something that's important that I talk about a lot is like social media is just like a highlight reel for people.
It is.
So you never really see what somebody's like full life looks like. So you can't just like compare yourself to what you see, because there's so much more to that person's life. There's so much more that they're going through.
Of course.
So I think that you never really know like what's fully going on. So just like be present.
Yeah, and you're never going to be the best at anything or have the biggest house or the best car. There's always going to be someone that's doing better than you in some way. But
for sure.
You can still strive for your goals, and don't let that like put you down.
No.
But there's always going to be someone that's doing better. So no matter where you are in life, don't feel ashamed about it.
No, exactly. I agree. Okay, what actions can you take to be your authentic self? Like, what advice would you give to people, and like what can they do to help like really be the best version of who they are?
That is a good question. I would say, build a good group of friends is the first thing that you should do. Or if it's not friends, family, learn how to treat others with respect, be nice. I'm trying to think of the best way to answer this question.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you are a lot of who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And if you surround yourself with people who don't have the same morals as you, or goals kind of, but like everybody has their own goals that not really, but like the same mindset, it kind of affects the way that you are. So if you are friends with people, or you're surrounding yourself with people that you feel like are kind of having a not so great impact on who you are as yourself, and they make
Right.
you feel bad about being yourself, like that's obviously not going to help. So I think
Right.
that that's good advice, to surround yourself with people who make you want to be
Yeah.
who you are. I mean, I would also say, I think that the best way to be yourself is just kind of, sometimes you're going to have to put your head down and focus on your path and where you're going, and that'll kind of get you back on track with who you are and aligned with what you want and your goals. Because when you're aligned with your dreams and your goals and you're doing things for yourself, that's when you're the best version of yourself, in my opinion. At least for me, that's when I find who I am, and that's when I kind of am the best version of myself, is when I'm surrounded with good people, and also when I'm doing things for myself because I want to do it.
Right.
So I think that that would be my best advice. But I agree.
Yeah.
Surrounding yourself with people is the most important thing. Okay. Are there situations that we may encounter where we may have to be inauthentic?
I think there's some type of boundary. You know, maybe the best comparison that I could give is like hanging out with like your parents' friends versus like your actual friends.
Yeah.
Like you're somewhat gonna
You're a
shift.
little different, yeah.
Your personality when you're around them versus when you're around your friends. But I don't think you should have to be a completely separate person. But of course, I'm gonna act different if I'm at like, you know, a fancy dinner versus like when I'm just like hanging out with my friends.
Right.
So I think there are situations where you have to, you know, like maybe me right now, I should
like
bring it
sit up-
down, be a little bit more.
like sit up straight, shoulders
yeah,
back.
like maybe. Are you saying my posture's bad?
No, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Definitely not. No,
Okay.
but yeah, I agree. I think that it's not being inauthentic. It's just like when you're in different environments, like you're going to probably be a little different. But that
Right.
also goes along with with who you surround yourself with.
Right.
Because if you have to be different in a different situation, those probably aren't your people. So whenever
Right.
you feel like you can be the most yourself, like that's your people, you know what
Right.
I mean? And I mean, I personally don't think like your parents' friends are like your people, so that's why you
No.
feel like you need to be like a little bit different. But
Yeah.
when you're with your friends, you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So I
Exactly.
think that that's also good advice, is just, again, who you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one of my last questions for you.
Whoa.
What are some tips that the viewers can take away to be and stay authentic? Oh, that's kind of the same thing, but yeah, like what is your biggest piece of advice besides
Yeah.
who you surround yourself with?
I mean, I'd say focus on bettering yourself as much as you can. The smallest habits that you do every day, you know, waking up in the morning, you know, like if you don't brush your teeth, maybe you don't see it for the first 30 days, but like after a while, you're like, dude, your teeth are literally falling out. So
For sure.
you don't notice it day by day. But if you make small habits for yourself, I'll try to find something better. You know, if I play like 15 minutes a guitar a day, I'm going to like probably suck if I haven't played for,
Right.
you know, ever in my
Right.
life, you know, if I'm a beginner. But in time, let's say a year, 5 years, I'm going to get really good. And you might not notice it while you're doing it. And that's why a lot of people quit. You know, that can be with anything. Progress in the gym, progress in music, progress in acting. You know, that's why a lot of actors quit. I've quit before in acting. Like when I was like 8 or 9, I was in Canada, I think, and I was doing all these auditions. I had like 5 auditions, and everyone was out like hunting for golf balls and like playing soccer. I was like, Mom, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be an actor right now. So I was like, I quit. I just want to like go away. But, you know, I came back to it, and I realized when I got more mature, like it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
And once I get there, it's, you know, after I got the show, after I got this, you know, people aren't like, oh, like we can't trust him on set. We can't hire him. So, it's the small things that you do every day that maybe you don't see that eventually build up. And, you know,
Yep.
I couldn't close that very well,
But
but you know, yes,
Yes,
you
I
understand
agree.
my
Bettering
point.
yourself is something that
Yeah.
will definitely help you.
We can cut that together.
Yeah.
Make me sound like I'm like really intelligent mastermind.
No, that was great advice.
Thank you.
It was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Bettering yourself and focusing on yourself is the best way to be the best version of who you are. So put your head down, focus on yourself, and if people are trying to steer you off that path, they're probably not your people.
Get out.
Yeah. All right. So I have this little series I started on my TikTok called Dear Pressley, where I created Dear Pressley, where I created this form that people can submit what things that they're going through or just things that have been on their mind, and I will do my best to give my advice and help them out. So I actually have one that we're going to read on kind of the topic of being authentic.
Okay.
This is a real life question. Like, this is a real thing. Okay.
Intense.
I know, intense. So we're going to give some
hear
advice. All right, it says, Dear Pressley, I'm currently stuck between shaping myself for others and shaping myself on my own terms. On one hand, I want to be that friend that my friends want and need, but on the other hand, I want to not feel like I'm relying on external validation either. My question would be, how do you focus on yourself while, I guess, growing in a way beneficial to your friends?
That is very well put together.
Yeah, that's a really great question.
So, if I'm understanding it, whoever this is trying to be their authentic self while fitting in with their friends?
Yes, but also, focusing on themselves and growing in a way for them, but also trying to be there for her friends or their friends. You know what I mean? Like, they want to be a good friend, but they also want to focus on themselves.
Right.
But they want to find the balance between it.
Totally understand. Yeah, I mean, I've totally been through similar situations where I've, had to do work or I had to be on set like 10 hours a day or just been super busy and I don't have time to either hang out or contact with my friends. And I feel like there's some sort of distance. If that's similar to what's happening to this person, then I'd say just have check-ins with your friends. That can just be on the phone, on text. Just tell them the situation that's happening, because if you don't tell them, they're going to be like, oh, they're spending time with other people or they don't care. Yeah. So just make sure they understand what you're going through. Because if my friend told me this, exactly what was said on this card, I would be like, oh yeah, it's totally fine. I understand you. So you have to communicate with these people instead of just, hiding in the dark in the shadows or like not communicating. And then they're like, oh, they're just hanging out with other people or like doing other things. Yeah. So communicate, I would say, is the number one thing.
I agree. Communication is a very big thing when it comes to friendships. And I think that is the best way to have a healthy friendship or relationship or just anything in general is communicating your feelings and what you're going through, because the best thing you could do is be open and honest with somebody. And I think that also remembering that and like being okay to do things just for yourself. You don't always have to be doing things for others. And I think that that's something that I have to remind myself of, because one of the most important things to me is being a good friend. I've always made sure that I am a good friend. I never want to make my friends feel bad or that like I am not making time for them. But I also am very busy. I have a lot of things that go on in my life. I live a very busy life where I travel and whatever. But I feel like I always try and make time for my friends, but also try and make time for myself. So I think that finding the balance between spending time by yourself and taking that time to focus on who you are and, just like take that time for yourself and then also making time for your friends is very hard. Something that I struggle with for sure. But I think that communication is the best thing. Like, and also if you have friends that understand that and know that you need time for yourself and like understand what you're doing and what you're going through, that's also something that's super important. And if your friends can't see that, then
they shouldn't be your friends
anyway. So I think that it's definitely hard, but just remembering that you shouldn't do anything for validation from others. You should always do something for yourself. Like, that's what you're doing, but also just be honest and communicate with your friends is the best advice I have. Yep.
Cool.
You see what
I did?
I said what you did there. That was really good. That was really good. Well, thank you, Jensen, for being a part of this episode. I loved having you. Tell everyone where they can find you at or anything you want to say.
Sure. You can find, mainly I use Instagram. I also use TikTok, but just my name, Jensen Gering, JensenGerin. You finish it off.
G.
Yeah, you got it right. Can you believe she didn't even know how to spell my name?
Guys.
I mean, like, she had to think. She was like,
I didn't know where you left off. I wasn't following your spelling.
So she's not listening. She doesn't know my name. I mean,
guys, I promise I'm a good friend. I promise. Okay. And also, are you gonna plug your music? Music coming? Nope. I'm gonna stop talking. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to Cool Conversations with me, Pressley, and Jensen. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.